So I was telling in the 11th aphorisms, we have to follow the scriptural injunctions. So for that, in Bhagavad Gita, the Krishna tells that, Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nana vaptama vaptavyam vartaye vacha karmani. Means, there is no duty for me to do or to perform in all the three worlds, or in this earth, the above world or below world. But still, O Partha, I have nothing to gain. I have nothing to attain. Yes, I am engaged in the prescribed duties. The duties which are prescribed by the scriptures, even now, I am performing it. Why? Because yadi eham navarteyam jatu karmanya tandritaha mama vartmanu vartante manushyaha partha sarvasha. If I do not carefully perform the prescribed duties, O Partha, all men would follow my path in all respect, and they will get away from the scriptures. So after the Sanatana Dharma is the only religion or only philosophy tells that after your realization, you need not to follow even scriptures. Why? Because it is not required for you in generally. But still, people, the great people, they do follow. Why? To set example. So Krishna is also saying that I have nothing to attain, I have nothing to gain, I have nothing to achieve, and I have nothing to lose even. But I am complete in myself, but I still practice the prescribed duties or scriptural prescribed duties. Why? Because to set an example for the society. So all the great people, they try to perform the scriptural injunctions, they practice and they follow. Why? To set an example is one thing. Second thing, it protects. For a common people, it protects. Now let us try to understand the 12th aphorism. Bhavatu nishchayadadyar dhurdvam shastra rakshanam. Bhavatu, there should be nishchayadadyam, firmness in faith, vurdhvam, until shastra rakshanam, conformity with the scriptures. Means there should be conformity with the scriptures until one's faith is firmly established. Either you may take any path, the path of devotion, the path of selfless action, that is karma yoga, the path of psychic control, that is raja yoga, or the path of knowledge, that is gnana yoga. Till complete establishment, completely establishing in the path, respective paths, you have to follow the scriptures and you have to stick on to the scriptural injunctions. Why? Once you reach the end of the path, then your experience and the scriptural statements regarding experience, it will be tallied. This we can see very clearly in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. When Sri Ramakrishna was practicing his spiritual sadhana, people did not understand his sadhana, or did not understand his longingness towards God. When he used to cry for mother, "Oh Mother Kali, where are you? One day is over, I'm not able to see." And he used to profusely cry, very bitterly used to cry. "Oh my God, one day is over, still I didn't see the mother." Such a longing heart he had. But people mistook that he has lost his mental balance and he has become insane. And after so many years, a nun called Bhairavi Brahmini comes. And when she heard Sri Ramakrishna's life, Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual practices, Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual experience, she started officially, she was the first person to declare openly that Sri Ramakrishna is an incarnation. Sri Ramakrishna is nothing but the divine or God has descended on this earth. How? Based on the scriptures. Either in the Vedas or in Bhagavata or in so many Tantra Shastras. So there is a lot of mention that a realized soul, how he will be, what is experience, what will be his nature, what are the traits, what are the qualities. And all these things were resembling in Sri Ramakrishna's life, Sri Ramakrishna's teachings, in Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual experiences. And it is not only that, when she told this, when Sri Ramakrishna told for Mathurnath Vishwas, who was the temple owner, he also laughed at it. Then Bhairavi Brahmini says that if you have got any doubt in my saying, you can call the Pandits who have studied scriptures. You can call any Pandit, any wise person. I can debate with them. Then Mathurnath Vishwas was very interested. He paid amount and he got a lot of wise people who are well versed in the scriptures. And there were discussions, hot debates, and finally everyone agreed, yes, Sri Ramakrishna is incarnation, no doubt, and Sri Ramakrishna's experience are in consonance with scriptural statements or the spiritual experiences described in scriptures. So here we can say there is a conformity with the scriptural statements. So till then, one has to practice scriptural statements. That's what it is told. Now, if you remember my previous class, if you remember the 8th Sutra number 8, aphorism number 8, there they had told that discarding public opinion and the injunctions of the Veda and all activities is Nirodha. What is Nirodha? Nirodha means discarding public opinion and Vedic injunctions. There in the number 8, they told you one should not care for public opinion, one should discard Vedic injunctions. And in the 11th and 12th, they are telling that you should care for public opinion and you should follow the scriptural injunctions or the Vedas. It is contradictory. Why it is? That's why many people don't come to scriptures. That's why many people don't come to philosophy. So you see, even Narada also is contradicting himself. So here, that's why we need a guru to understand the aphorisms improperly. So when in the Sutra number 8, when they said that you need not to follow the scriptural injunctions or Vedic injunctions, means whatever the kamya karma, like Agnihotram Johoti Swarga Kamaha, one who is desiring of heaven, to attain heaven, to reach heaven, he should perform a sacrifice by name Agnihotra. Now, I am not desiring heaven. I desire only God. I only desire God's love. Then I need not to perform Agnihotra. That's what. So when you not to follow the scriptural injunctions or Vedic injunctions means when you are free from desires, or you have got only desire to attain God, to reach God, or to have God's realization, then definitely you need not to follow the scriptural injunctions or Vedic injunctions, which is prescribed to have a particular results. In Vedas, you can know that there are so many rituals, there are so many mentions, when mentioning of the injunctions, that it is described to attain some results, particular results. When I don't need it, then why should I perform? So from that point of view, in Sutra number 8, that you need not to follow scriptural injunctions. But here, they are saying from the highest point of view that they're saying about the spiritual experiences. One has to follow the scriptural injunctions. Till then, he reaches his end and his experience and the scriptural statements describing the experience should tally, should confirm. Till then, one has to follow the scriptural injunctions. And the same thing is beautifully, in a very simple way, Sri Ramakrishna has told in Gospel. He says that till when one should follow karma, till when one should follow rituals. Oh, I'm a great spiritual aspirant and I'm a great spiritual practitioner, then I don't think I need any rituals now, customs or practices, all these things I can leave to the air. Then what is the yardstick when I can leave all these things? Sri Ramakrishna says that the moment when you hear Lord's name, God's name, when if you are, it automatically love comes and tears roll down, that means you don't need any external practices. Otherwise, till then, one has to practice external practices, maybe worships, or maybe rituals, or maybe customs. So this will all bring the mental purification, and this will all enable our mind to go near God or to go near self. That's what we mean. So these are all part of spiritual sadhana. And here when they say that we have to perform every work as an offering to our God. Yat karoshi yadashnasi yajju hoshi dadasi yat tat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you eat, whatever you drink, when we in our monasteries, whoever has come for Air Vedanta Society, you hear in the food time mandal, Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavihi, and all we chant the mantra. Means what? Whatever the plate and the food offering and the person who is serving and the person who is eating and inside stomach, the digestion power, everything is Brahman or divine or God. So with the idea of sacrifice as a divine oblation or sacrifice, we are trying to take the food, not just to fulfill the taste of the tongue. No, it is a sadhana. So whatever I drink, whatever I eat, whatever I offer, everything let it be as an offering towards you. Let it be the worship. And you offer me everything, then every work will be a worship. Work is worship, we say. So here in the 12th sutra or aphorism, this idea is told. So whatever you do, you try to do as a worship. You try to do it as a worship towards God or towards your chosen deity. And you can say that it is not a slavishness, because by following the scriptural statements, then our freedom, is it not curtailed? No. Through discipline only, by following discipline constantly, one can attain freedom. Just like a thorn is, I have got a thorn pick, then I need one more thorn to remove it in the forest. So similarly, by following the discipline, one can get away, one can rise himself, and one can be free person. Real freedom can be attained. That is the reason one has to follow. And then 13th aphorism, Anyatha patityashankya. Anyatha, otherwise, patati ashankya. There is a fear of fall from the ideal. If you don't follow the teachings of great people, if you don't follow the teachings of your guru, if you don't follow the teachings of scriptures, then what happens? Otherwise, there is a fear of falling from the ideal. In the name of freedom, oh, I want like to be free. I want freedom. I'm a rational person. I don't care for anyone. I don't care for anything, any authority. I would like to live as I wish. If you say, it may be okay for some time, but in long run, it is not. Why? Because we don't have a mental purification. We are instinctive. We are reactive. At this given point of time, I feel that, okay, something is good, something is better, but in the long run, it is not so. So that is the reason one has to follow or one has to listen to the teachings or the elder statement. For an example, we can see same thing in our life itself. When we were small, whatever we thought it is real, this is the only right ones. When we grow or when we enter our youth state, then we thought whatever we had thought in the childhood, that was wrong, that was not proper, that was immature. And during the youth, whatever we thought, this is the good and this is the only good. And when we come to middle age, then our perception changes. And when we become old, then there will be a lot of change in perceptions. Perceptions keep changing because of our experience, because of our life lessons. So that is the reason already people who have achieved all these things, who have experienced all these things, and whatever they have given in the form of their teachings, so it is better to follow them because they have already experienced all the struggles, whatever we are facing. Otherwise, we may get away from the path. We'll be fear of falling from the path. So one has to follow the Guru's words or scriptural statements as been told in the 13th aphorism. 14th aphorism now. Lokopi tavadeva bhojanadi vyaparaha tu asharira dharanavadhi. Lokaha api, public opinion also. There are two meanings are given. Either you can say it as a public opinion, or you can also take as social customs. Lokopi. Tavat eva. Till that period alone. Till which period? Bhojanadi, food and etc. Vyaparaha, activities. To, but asharira, till the body, dharanavadi, last. Till the body exists, one has to take the food and etc. and one has to follow the social customs, or one has to care for public opinion to certain extent. Means as long as body exists, one has to eat, one has to sleep, one has to drink water. Oh, I am a great spiritual aspirant. I will not eat. I will not sleep. I will not drink anything. And we cannot neglect the body in the name of spirituality. That's why Upanishad says, Sharira Madhyam Kalu Dharma Sadhana. The first spiritual practice is keeping the body fit. That means, it doesn't mean that you should overeat. No. You should never overeat, nor you should not eat at all. You should not oversleep, and you should not sleep at all. This, and you should do a lot of recreation, or you don't do at all. And you work so much, or you don't work at all, you are lazy. So all these extremes should be avoided, and we should take the middle path. I think in the Buddha's life and teachings, we have seen that. So even the Sanatana Dharma also tells that we have to follow the middle path. So extremes should be avoided. That's the one thing. And second thing is, this body is the wonderful instrument given by God or the nature to achieve anything. Just like we need a vehicle to go from one place to another. We need a mobile to talk with our family people, or to talk with our friends who are at a distance. So similarly, we need this body. Why? Either for all our experiences, and especially for strugglings, for self-realization or God-realization. So till we are there, we have to take care of this body properly. We cannot neglect it. But at the same time, we should not attach ourselves with the body. It so happened in our Ramakrishna monastery, one of the president, he was the president of the whole Ramakrishna Mutt and mission. His name was Swami Bhuteshanand. Probably his age was at 94 or 95 or 96. So there was a health issue, serious health issue. The best doctors were called. Then the doctors scrutinized and they said, operation has to be done, a major operation. But the operation may be successful or may not be. If it is successful, he will live long, maybe for a few years. If there's any problem while operation, then he may not come away. He may not get out from the operation theater. But at the same time, there's a huge risk without operation. Then all the big sadhus, then the senior sadhus, they were in fix. One is, operation may be successful, may not be successful. We don't know. We have to take in risk. One is that. And okay, instead of taking the risk, let us avoid. If you think, no, the doctors are saying that, no, he should be operated. It is also a high risk leaving him without operation. So they had a lot of discussions for and against whether should we do or should we not do, etc., etc. But there was no decision was able to take, because he had thousands of disciples. If anything happens tomorrow, we will be blamed and we will lose such a fine sadhu, such a great sadhu. Then they thought, okay, let us go and ask him only. What do you want, or what do you suggest? Then all the senior sadhus, the trustees, they went and approached Maharaj. Maharaj, this is the problem. Please let us know. What do you say? Instantly, Swami Bhuteshanand said, look, when I joined the monastery, I dedicated myself completely to Sri Ramakrishna, who is my chosen deity, my body and my mind and my everything. So I have nothing of myself. There is nothing where I can call this is mine. No, Everything is Sri Ramakrishna's property. So Ramakrishna and Ramakrishna mission, both are one and the same. That's the reason whatever mission takes the decision, it will be Sri Ramakrishna's decision. So whatever you take decision, I will abide by that. Don't worry, go ahead. Then they discussed and they took a decision that we will go for operation. And with God's grace, operation was successful and he came. And you see there, he's telling that I have offered my body and mind to Sri Ramakrishna. It is Sri Ramakrishna's instrument. There was no attachment to his body, but at the same time, he was taking care of his body as an instrument of the God. So that should be our idea. We need not to attach to the body. At the same time, we should not neglect also our body, because it's a wonderful instrument given by God. We have to take care. Unnecessary cajoling is also not required, but unnecessary neglecting is also not required. So when you hear such aphorism or such idea from the scriptures, it automatically tells us that suicide is against the nature or scriptures. I am unhappy, or I have got a loss in my life, financial loss in my life, or financial glitches in my life, then better I will end my life. No. Someone scolded, I am unable to bear the pain or agony, I will end my life. No. Someone cheated, he or she cheated, there is a love failure in my life, that's the reason I end my life. No. I've got some other problems, so I don't want to suffer, I want to end my life. No. The scripture or the God or the nature, they don't allow you to end your life abruptly. One has to stay back till the end of his life. Why? Because it is a God gift. It is a nature gift. We have to accept and we have to go along or get along. So we have, for growth and maintenance of the body, we have to do something. We have to keep our body and mind clean by bathing, by giving one thing. And we have to give proper food, isn't it? So that's what they are saying that. So food and etc. Here food and etc. can be said that maintenance. One is the growth of the body and the maintenance of the body, the cleanliness, all other things are included in bhojana and adi. We have to eat, we have to take proper rest, required rest. We have to keep our body clean, healthy. All these things are required and one has to follow. And now he's saying, lokopi. One has to follow social customs and also one has to care for public opinion. I think there is English saying that when you are in the Rome, be a Roman. When you are in Ireland, you be Irish. When you are in India, you be an Indian. When you are in America, be an American. Means try to follow the rule of that land. Try to follow the rule of that country and be an integral part of that country or of the place where you are living. That's what we mean. So one has to follow the social customs of that particular country or of that particular area or of that particular land. But if someone is saying that to go against the principles, fundamental principles, or if someone is saying that asking to you to go against the truth, asking you to tell the false, then what should you do? Then definitely we need not to follow them and we can say no and we can stand against. When it comes to principles, we should stand like a rock, that nothing doing, no deviation. But when it comes to opinions, when it comes to perceptions, and when it comes to day-to-day few activities, we can be flexible and we have to be flexible and we have to care for others' opinions and feelings too. That's what in the 14th aphorism, the meaning has been told. Now, 15th aphorism, tal lakshanani vachyante nana matabeda. Tat lakshanani, when you split it, it becomes tat lakshanani. The characteristics of it means what? Devotion. The characteristics of devotion, vachyante, stated, said, described, nana, many, matabeda, owing to different views. Means the characteristic of devotion or the nature of devotion are being stated because of different views in this regard. Means many people have described and defined devotion in different way. That's what we means to say here. So the devotion, the nature of devotion or the definition of devotion is different to different people. Every philosopher or different philosophers have defined the nature of devotion or the definition of devotion in the different way. We have several definitions on devotion, that's what, by different teachers. But is it really interesting? We should know. Why? Because we'll get a complete understanding. Every author or every sage or every leader might be trying to tell or trying to explain or trying to define the devotion from the particular way or from the particular angle. So when we hear few definitions, we will get a all-comprehensive picture or complete picture. So that's why in succeeding 9 aphorisms, Narada describes different definitions of bhakti by some philosophers or some great personalities, and who were present, who were there before him, who had preceded him. In the 16th aphorism, Pujadishu Anuraga iti Parasharya. The sage name Parasharya means the son of Parashara. He describes the devotion as iti, thus Puja adi Anuraga means puja adi, worship and other things, Anuraga, love or attraction. According to Vyasa, Parasharya means Vyasa, Veda Vyasa we say, according to Veda Vyasa, bhakti or the devotion is attraction towards the worship and etc. The worship and etc. and it is a devotion. When we hear such statement, immediately it comes to our mind the life of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna started his life career as a pujari, as a priest in Dakshineshwar temple, we all know. First he starts with the Krishna's in the Lord Krishna's temple, then afterwards he starts worship in the Mother Kali's temple. He starts performing the worship, he loved it, and is to perform with such a sincerity, with such a devotion. Slowly, it kindled spirituality in him. It increased, it brought the longingness for God, and he had a God realization. So whatever the Vyasa is describing as a devotion is attraction towards the worship or loving the worship is being seen very clearly in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. And this Vyasa is not an easy person, or is not a very common person. He's a great sage. He has written 18 Puranas, and each Puranas are thousands of shlokas are there. And Mahabharata, one more history, one of the biggest history book ever written in the world, which contains 1 lakh shlokas or 100,000 shlokas. And Puranas also, every Purana has got thousands of shlokas, and all these things are composed by one person by name Veda Vyasa. Not only that, the Veda was very huge. So he understood that slowly, the memory power and the grasping power of the people are diminishing, is reducing. So it is better. I have to protect the Vedas, feeling that he divided the entire Veda into 4 parts, and he taught for 4 disciples, and he said, he ordered them that now onwards, you are the caretaker of this portion of the Vedas. Like we have got 4 Vedas, we know, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Atharvana Veda. And 4 disciples were taught these Vedas, and from them, their disciples, the successive generations came, and today we are having even all the 4 Vedas. Now, one Veda itself, we are not able to read and understand. Very few people have read at least 1 Veda. And imagine if one has to read all the 4 Vedas, we would have lost many portion of it. That's the reason Vyasa divided it, and he taught, and he is the instrumental in protecting this. That's why he's called Veda Vyasa. His name is Vyasa because he did such a human service for Veda. That's why he's called Veda Vyasa. And such a great person. such a great spiritual personality is explaining the devotion as love towards worship. And why do we need rituals? Or why do we need to worship? Yes, everyone cannot perceive the God as formless, or everyone cannot meditate at all times on God. So we need worship. By worshipping it easily, by uttering some prayer or mantras, and by doing some actions. Every religion has got some rituals, some customs. When we practice that, and when we do some prayers or uttering mantras and added with the love, so definitely it will be easy for any person at the beginning level to have the devotion, or to cultivate the devotion, or to concentrate his mind with God or on God. That's why it is very, very important for in every religion. However, we can say in every religion, we have got customs, we have got rituals. And we can see very clearly in the life of Buddha, or in Buddhism, history of Buddhism. Buddha never encouraged rituals. And Buddha never said that whether there is a God or not. When the people asked, he said he didn't answer at all. But after his demise, in no time, he was made as God from his disciples and followers. And not only that, there are so many customs, so many rituals have been included in Buddhism. If you know what is Buddhism, and if you have studied Buddhism, and if you have visited any Buddhist monasteries, you'll be able to tell. Of course, in the Hinayana, that is Sautrantika and Vaibhashika school, the rituals are very, very less, no doubt. But if you go to Mahayana and Vajrayana, Mahayana is Shunyavada and Yogachara, and Vajrayana is Tibetan Buddhism. Dalai Lama belongs to that Vajrayana. So if you see them, they've got a lot of rituals. So people cannot get away from the rituals. They need it, because that is the abstract concept, concrete concept of the philosophy. So to start with, we need rituals. I pray, I get up and I light the candle and I pray in front of Jesus. That is also a worship. Or I place a flower to the God and I worship. And I offer some flowers or food, fruits, and wave incense sticks or wave lamp, physically or mentally. All these are part of worship. So you can see in the next aphorisms, the author is trying to explain what is devotion. That can be broadly classified into three things. One is the love is expressed either in the deed, that is verb, action, or the word, or the mind. So that is seen in the different aphorisms. So here they are saying that physical and mental worship is nothing but the love, or the attraction towards the physical and mental worship is nothing but the devotion, according to Parasharya, or according to the sage Vyasa. Then Adi means what it includes. Adi includes, according to the some wise people or the philosophers, they say, maybe festivals, building and renovation of temples, charity work, devotional works like painting and sculptures, and even sacred dance. All these things can be included in the one word, single word, Adi. And in the next aphorism, in the 17th, the by name sage Garga, he tells Katadishu iti Gargaha. The sage Garga defines or describes the devotion as the stories of God's play. The Jesus descended on this earth and he did a lot of play. He helped the people. He supported the devotees, his disciples. For an example, a patient who was suffering from some disease, it was been cured. Mary Magdalene, he supported Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene was known for a prostitute, and he supported her and he uplifted her. There are so many beautiful stories with regard to life of Jesus. Same thing with life of Prophet Muhammad. Same thing with the life of Buddha. Same thing with the life of Rama, Krishna, Ramakrishna, or any great sages, and with the God's incarnations. So they're wonderful to read, wonderful to hear, wonderful to meditate. It is called Leela Dhyana. So what is Leela Dhyana and how to meditate on these things? let me take in the next class. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.